Hello and welcome to SketchUp Assist. We're going to do a couple of videos here, a series explaining how I put these kitchen designs together as part of my business. So when I have a client that's looking to do a kitchen remodel, I like to try to do some kind of rendering for them, even a basic rendering like this. We don't necessarily do ray tracing or anything like that. But this really helps them visualize the layout, also helps us visualize and determine the layout that's going to work so that when we get in to build that kitchen, we don't end up with some surprises. So we generally take very accurate measurements of the space and then come in, depending on the cabinets. If we're buying sort of standard cabinets from a manufacturer, then we will take those dimensions and make them work. Or if we're doing something truly custom, then we can kind of lay out whatever it is that works best or suits the needs for the customer. And so we're going to go through in a couple of videos how we create these types of kitchen layouts. Now, I want to say up front that these are the cabinets that you were just seeing. These are not going to be drawings of cabinets that you could take to a shop and build. I mean, they will have rough dimensions, but they're not going to be sort of accurate in terms of the plywood thickness and things like that. They're just really the shelves with the dimensions that's needed. So let's start off the way I typically do this. Now I will reuse some of these sometimes, but oftentimes I'll just kind of build things from scratch. And there are more sophisticated ways to do this too. We're just going to kind of do the quick and dirty hack, and this might be something that you find valuable again. If you're doing some kitchen designs for customers or for yourself for that matter, trying to lay out your home kitchen. What I generally do is I come in and I start with the top view, and I basically kind of look at the space. I look at the cabinets that we're going to get. Again, for example, if we're going, Home Depot, Hampton Bay, I'll go look at what's available there. If I have a custom manufacturer, then obviously that provides more flexibility in what I'm going to design. But generally, I start out in the corner because the corner is going to often dictate what the rest of the cabinet layout will be. And so here we have the standard 10 by 10. This is what you'll see many times when you're buying cabinets. Usually they're priced at a standard 10 by 10 kitchen. And so just for this example, we're going to use this. Obviously, this would work with whatever you want it to do. So what I typically do is I come in and I start out by laying out some grid lines. And so I'm going to build the cabinets along these two walls. And so I'm going to lay out my 24-inch marks for my kitchen base cabinets. And then again, starting in the corner, I generally put in a 36-inch, like Lazy Susan or corner cabinet. And so I next start by coming out and laying out some 36-inch marks. And then what I do is simply come in with this first one. It takes a little bit more manual work here. Now, you can do a corner cabinet that has the corner, or you can do the kind of corner cabinet that has the angled cabinet. We're just going to do this corner like this. And we'll finish this up. Now, also notice that I made my floor a group when we started, and that's going to be important because if you start moving these cabinets around, you're going to end up with a hole in your floor. And so I generally make the corner a group as well because I'm typically not replicating it, and there's not really much sense in making a component out of it. So just to reiterate, my floor here, my sort of floor space I have is an independent group. And then you're going to want to make sure each of these you create a group or a component. Okay, so now that we've got that, I might come in and say I want to put a 30-inch base here. So I'll come down, I'll hit my mark, and I'll notice that my dimensions in the lower right corner, I'm on my 2-foot mark, my 24-inch mark. And so I can simply come in and say 30, and that will give me a 30-inch wide base. And so if we measure this, we'll see that's a 30-inch wide base, and obviously it's 24 inches. It's on my grid line there. And I'll make this one a group. And just for the sake of this, we're not going to draw all the cabinets you saw in that design, but just for the sake of sort of examples, let's do one more here, and let's make this one 18. And again, I'm going to make this one a component actually, and I'm going to call this 18-inch base. And I'm actually going to come back to this one and go ahead and make it a component as well. So I made it a group earlier. Let me double click in there, make it a component, and then we'll call this a 30-inch base. Okay, that's all we're going to do for now, because what I want to demonstrate now is how I get the sort of, very quick, rough appearance of a cabinet. Now, you can come in and double click in this, select this, double click in here, pull this up. I typically do 34.5. It's typically a standard height. Okay, and you could do something like this. You could just leave it like this. You could come in. Now, once I do 34.5, if I go to the next one, I can simply go into push-pull mode and just double-click, and it will remember the height that I used. And then same thing, we'll come into here and double-click once I'm in push-pull mode, and it will automatically go to 34.5. And, if you were doing a quick layout, you could take these, pull them around, and this might be good enough. If you want to do a little more, and then this is generally what I do, is I just do a little bit more to these, and I don't necessarily follow any strict standards here. What I typically do is just come in and say, okay, let's just come in, pull down maybe 8 inches. Let me get into this space here, and I'm going to put a mark across here, and this is going to be my drawer space, and then I can come into the offset mode. Well, that's a little wide for a single drawer. Let's go ahead and split this into two. So let's come down from the midpoint. We'll split this into two. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. You're really just trying to give your customers or yourself a little more sort of vision into what it is you're creating. And I just do 2-inch offsets on those. Okay. And then from the bottom, I generally come up 4 inches and select this face, and put a line across here, and then I select this, go into push pull, and go back 4 inches. It's okay if you over push. Just type in the amount that you want to go, and it will set that. And then we'll go ahead and split this one in half. Go into the offset mode again. Offset mode. I'm using the hotkeys, and I always hate to mention hotkeys. I'm on a Mac, and they're different on a PC, but it's the offset here. And again, pull in. Doesn't really matter how far you go. Then just hit 2 and enter. And likewise here. Okay. And now you have what appears to look much more like a cabinet, and you could even come in here if you wanted to add a little depth. And you might overemphasize it so you can see it. Again, once I do 3/4 inch, I did 3/4 inch in this case, I can just double click in these when I'm in push-pull mode, and it will automatically set those for you. So now this looks a lot more like a cabinet. Again, it just helps visualize. And we'll do the same thing here. Now on this one, I'm not going to do 2 cabinets. This is an 18-inch cabinet, so I'm just going to do a single. Let me go into push pull here, set that 4 inches back, and push pull is not cooperating with me today. So I got it set back. So one more try there. Okay, there we go. Go into offset mode again and do 2 inch. And you can adjust these if you want. You don't have to use 2. This is just what I typically do. And it tends to be fairly effective. Now the value of doing these in groups and I'll leave this one for now, just for the sake of timing. The value in creating these cabinets this way is that now I can simply come in, if I want to reuse this 18-inch box, start dragging it, hit the Option key. I can make a copy of that. I can come in, swivel it around 90. So it would be 270. It's actually 270 to get it in the right orientation, but it kind of depends on where you start. And then I can just pull it over. Oops. Pull it over and lock it into place on that wall. And I can reuse these components. And then further, I can experiment with the layout. And if someone wants to change the layout, again, if I'm working with a customer and they're like, well, I'd rather have, my sink on a different wall or this cabinet on a different wall, I can easily come in and grab those components and move them around. And again, if you look back at the group video that we did, we mentioned that this is the space where this becomes, one of the many spaces that this becomes valuable. It really helps in making these reusable components. And I'll just do one more just to kind of drive this home. 90. And again, I can just pull this back here, lock it into place. And now I can quickly put together a set of cabinets that look, enough real that it helps visualize what's going to be there. Now, obviously, this is kind of shaker style. You can do other styles if you want. It just turns out that the shaker style is pretty easy to do, in particular with the offset. But you could come in and create any sort of door face you want. Now, also keep in mind there are more sophisticated ways of doing this. You can create the components and then have them adjustable so that you can come in and actually set the widths and things like that. I typically just create some of these and keep them stored locally. And if I'm doing a new cabinet layout, I can grab those and pull them in. But if I have to create them, you can see how quick it is to actually create those cabinets. So we're going to stop there for today, and we'll follow up with additional videos where we build the wall cabinets, and we put these together in a full layout and work towards the final layout that you saw at the start of the video. So that's it for today. Thanks.